All right. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the first episode of, what's the name of the show called again? It's called The Amazing Mobile Trio, right? And obviously there's three of us, and we're amazing in our own minds, right? Maybe, or maybe in other people's minds. And we talk about mobile news and tech and things that relate to mobile devices, protection, and all of that interesting stuff. So I'm your host, and these are my co-hosts. I'm Bryan Jimenez, and my handle is at Bryan Jimenez SC, and I'm also creative director at Trident. And with me is
Diana, and you can find me on my social handle on Instagram, Turkish Chicana, and that's Chicana with an X. And I am an e-commerce specialist at Trident, and I'm here also with...
Hi, my name is Ezekiel Lamro. I don't necessarily have a handle, but you can find me at designbashing.com, and I'm also the senior product designer here at Trident.
All right, awesome. Well, to get started, we're going to talk about a few topics relating to mobile technology devices. And who wants to start off?
Diana would like to start off.
Diana, you want to start off?
I love how you just guys placed me first.
All right.
Yep.
Love it. Love it.
Ladies first chivalry is still alive and well.
So on the topic of chivalry and patriarchy, just kidding. So basically, I wanted to discuss women and video games. Like, what's up with that, y'all? You know. So basically, I wanted to start off by asking a general question and just kind of get your guys' feel on it. Why do you think video games, or like, why are video games, do you think, are being marketed to boys only, or is it specifically kind of geared towards men?
Interesting. It's
or boys, whatever.
I forget where I heard that.
That the bird was the word?
Yeah, no, that that in the early days of like early video games, like the Nintendo and things like that, it had to do a lot with product placement on the stores. That they had to kind of pick whether it was like in the boys section or in the girls section, because I guess it was too hard to compete in the technology section. So they ended up marketing in the toy section, and there was always a boy section and a girl section in the toy section. And so I think they ended up choosing like which is
basically targeting the
more
boys
marketable or something, going to bring in more money, and I think they ended up choosing the boy section, and they started marketing heavily towards boys. I believe that's something like that. It may not be exactly right, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
What about you?
You're the expert on this, right?
I'm actually not an expert on this.
Okay.
I mean, I play a ton of video games, and what you did mention, I've also heard before that it was in the beginning, you know, during the early stages of like Atari, most games were basically just unisex, and then what you basically described was pushed towards boys more, because they had to kind of find a target market. But yeah.
Yeah, I think eventually what happened is people started to just kind of follow that same marketing trend and marketing to males, just because that's what you did, and they didn't really question whether women played video games. I think I heard a statistic that I think one of the biggest audience in gaming is actually women now.
I think it's what's coming up. I actually have it pulled up right here.
But you don't hear about it. That's what's funny.
Well, yeah, that 52% of gamers are women.
It's not just necessarily console or PC gaming. It's more on the mobile gaming side of things.
Yeah.
Which nonetheless still like considers it gaming, but I guess there's like different concepts in gaming. So you have like your first person shooter games, and then you have your PC games that may also be PC or first person shooter or not. So I guess when you break it down to that, but I think the overall generality of it is that like I think there's this assumption that like women don't game in general, regardless of like what kind of category it's in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like I think going based off of what you guys are saying, I think what I also read and heard was that that it made more sense, which I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around, in the sense like how does that make more sense? Like why why do you think it makes more sense to target to a boy audience when it comes down to gaming?
Oh, okay. I actually don't think it makes that much sense. I think it's like
'Cause, like,
historically it makes sense because that's what's like been done and like proven to work, but they haven't really tried to market that heavily to the female audience, and that could work even better potentially.
Right.
But I don't think it has been really tried. Probably because it's, because it hasn't been tried. There's like inherent risk involved, and inherent risk is the potential for like money to be lost, and people maybe don't want to take that risk. But I don't know, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, but I'm trying to understand, like, what do you mean by women basically being left out of the game industry? Because personally, myself, as a gamer who's always online, playing Xbox games and PC games, I mean, there's women that I run into all the time. So it could just be different, like, perceptions of, women being excluded in video games.
I think in regards to marketing, I don't think it's so much like...
Oh, marketing-wise?
Yeah, like, it's not so much like, oh, do women play games or not? Because that's already stated. Like, 52% of women play games. Like,
So
it's nothing new.
So how can
That's
they be
true.
marketed to, or why should they?
Like,
Well, I
but
mean-
why is this marketing tactic solely to...
Well, I'm not an expert in it, but I mean, seems that, boys who are, I guess, more into violence, and there's that old saying that sex sells. So in terms of marketing, it could be a little bit easier to kind of go into these, like categories instead of actually taking the time to study what women want and target them in terms of marketing.
Yeah, I think you hit it exactly. The nail on the head is that like what the age-old mystery which is like what understanding women, and people don't want to take on that challenge, right? So
We're
there
so
you go.
easy
That
to
answers- that
understand,
answers
but
the
you
question.
guys complicate the process, is what I'm saying. Or is all I'm saying.
All right, so let's move on to another topic. Unless you want to keep adding more points to it.
No.
You have like 10 more points, don't you?
I know. I did my research, girl. I did it.
All
I
right,
did it.
okay.
No, but I mean, unless you guys want to move on to another
Let's
topic.
move on to yours, because
Yeah.
my topic, I mean,
All right.
I forgot to send you.
Let's. I think that's actually pretty a good length for a section, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So let's.
I mean, there's a ton more things you can talk about, but
Yeah,
it gets very broad and kind of,
yeah, for an introductory
goes
section,
on the tangents.
that'll be it. Let's stop right there. We'll continue with yours, and then we'll follow up with
what am I
mine
going to say about mine?
afterwards.
You guys know anything about the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 processor?
Of course we do.
Yes.
I mean, there
duh.
can't be a back and forth.
No, we could be like, how do you know what you're talking about? Maybe you don't know. And so it's not really back and
Were
forth. It's
women
more of like
involved in that
it's more of like
building of the
poking holes in your
processor?
No,
argument.
they were-
so.
Then I don't care.
They were exclusively excluded from it, just to not ruin.
All right, guys. So let's we'll go ahead and
Like,
finish
no
this
vaginas
segment. We will finish this segment. We'll continue with the next ones in the next episode. Thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe on whatever we're going to be on YouTube, Instagram,
Twitch.
Facebook, Twitch.
Facebook.
We're going to be
MySpace.
publish an article in the
MySpace,
newspaper.
yes.
We're going to write letters to you guys. All that stuff.
Email. Hey.
Bye.
See ya.